Howdy ho, everybody. This is David Bell from Dave's Game Studios with a new developer log for you today. We got us a new mic. We went over and went over to Best Buy. We got us a new mic because the other one you couldn't hear me for nothing on the other one. So hopefully now you guys can hear me a little more clearly. We'll go in and we'll review some of the still existing bugs, help these developers for the game engine squash them, and so they can see what we're referring to, and we'll do a good thorough gameplay in this one there. Hopefully it's not too long, but bear with me. And as always, please like and subscribe and bring your friends in. We want to get eyes on this game so people continue and start adding to their wish list. The early access release for this game is going to be June 25th of this year. Whether the game's ready or not, it's going to be done because this game is going to be ongoing development. It is a big game. So, anyway, here we go. Alright. First and foremost, as I tried to point out in my last video, but you probably could not hear me, we have, so far as it seems, squashed the floating object issue. This was an object orientation setting in the engine. I was under the impression that when you have it set for objects not to move, you were supposed to click no rather than yes. Note to the developers, you might want to switch that around. The yes and no should be flip-flopped because that's kind of confusing to people. But I mean, hey, it's your engine, you know, that's just a suggestion from me to you from a game developer's perspective. Alright, I did some new voiceovers for these non-player characters so they were more clear when pronunciating. You can build your crafting stations here under this awning. And so far it seems like everything it's supposed to be flush to the ground is flush to the ground. These models are a little bit, I need to rebuild those and fix those. I messed them up somehow. I need to redo the texture maps on those. I'll fix that though. By now, as many times as y'all see me play this, you know where a lot of the starting off crafting scripts and recipes are. There's going to be a lot more than what you see. As this is a survival crafting engine. Also, another special note, I modified the stats to where they take longer to drain your... Oh, I'm got one still over here floating. Gotta fix that. But I've got it set to where they take longer to drain, so you have more time to do stuff in between things. That was probably something that was bugging people, and that's cured already. So also another note to the developers, that sound that I was talking about is coming from the stone pickaxe. When you have it in your inventory, the sound randomly just makes this crunching noise, and I'll show it to you just as soon as I get that made. I want to get out of the line of attack from these crabs till I have something to fight back with here. Blade. one more. So let's go search for some more. You need 4 of those stone blades and stuff there to get started with, because you need to make a shaft. But there is enough of these little stones in the area to get you started. You just gotta find them. Yep, there's one right there. Gonna have to adventure around one of the critters. See, there's another one right there. Oh wait, that's the wrong kind of stone. Those aren't even supposed to be in there anymore. Those were the original stones that I had in here, and for some oddball reason they messed up and I couldn't get them to fix and correct. Hence now we have the other stones. That's why I did that. That's a special note. Yeah, a reveal, you would say. Okay. There we go. Now there's enough. Okay. Now we want the crude pickaxe. Yeah, this one will have to stay in the inventory, but it still crafts for some weird reason. I'm not sure how, why, whatever, it works. I'll add another couple of blocks to this and tweak this just a little bit more here eventually. Alright, now pay attention here. Okay, I'll drop this in my slot here. You hear that? Yeah. Like every 15 to 30 seconds. Yep. Now I pull that out of my... It's not there. See? No sound. So it is associated with the pickaxe, but here, that sound is not even attached to this object. See, there it is again. So I don't understand how or what's causing that. You guys got any idea? Let me know. You know, Lee, you have a copy of this game. Maybe, you know, if you're not going to use a key, maybe pass one of the developers that can analyze this or whatever. You have permission to do that. Whatever it takes. Oh, also I added a couple more plants in here to make us a little bit more. These open areas, as I said, there's going to be stuff added to this over time. This is an open world type style of survival game anyways, and it's developed that way deliberately because you want to be out looking for stuff. That's the whole purpose of this game. Part of the idea is based on, if you remember the video game called Legend of Zelda, the original copy for Nintendo, and I am no way, shape, or form, you know, utilizing anything from that game, so there's no copyrights here. It's just the idea where you had to go all over the place looking for treasures and whatnot. That's the key thing that I'm trying to add into this game to give it more. Also, we fixed the stones floating in the air and the logs. I knew what caused that. I just had to tweak it. So the previous video where they were floating, I've already scrunched that. That was a setting while I was trying to fix the other dilemma. But yeah, it's deliberate to be open because there's going to be animals that you can hunt. I'm at some point going to put a farm on here where you can collect and harvest crops, which will be used for different food crafting recipes. And I have a lot of ideas banked. I just got to get them working. But I'm trying to eliminate the preliminary bugs associated with things right now. So as we further development, we're not running into many major issues. You Game Guru Max developers and stuff there, you know, this game can make it or break it for you for your game engine popularity. I mean, this game is not just a first-person shooter. It's survival crafting, RPG, action adventure, all rolled into one. So yeah, I mean, a lot of people play a lot of these games on here, a whole lot more than what you realize. I myself have probably got almost 100 games alone with those styles of genres in my Steam library, and I have over 300 games. So just to give you an idea, if you look out there at other games, there's a variation of genres fused into one. It's not just first-person shooter or RPG. It's a collage, and you really want to tweak this engine to be able to handle that. Especially if you really, really want to make the big bang bucks. Because ultimately, you could turn around and wind up developing a Game Guru Max 2 that's even better and have Unreal Engine 6 quality graphics into it if you put your heart and soul into it. So you get this one where it needs to be, and bam. And the biggest thing that this is awesome with is the ease of use. This is why I keep coming back to it, is the ease of use. The other engines out there, they're great. They're perfect for many different things, but how the heck do you do 3/4 of it? You know, you got a learning curve that you got to learn to be able to do 90% of what you want to do that takes you forever just to learn how to do basic stuff, as to where this, you know, you watch a few tutorials and before you know it, you know, you're golden. That's what people want, be able to jump in an engine and actually do something and not spend all their time, you know, learning how to use the engine. That's my big beef with one of the other game engines that I have and stuff. You know, they've got great tutorials on how to use the engine, but they don't have good tutorials on how to lay out a game template. You know, it's all about sorry, I was looking for something on here. It's all about the game engine, but no way of putting together a small template like a first-person shooter, an RPG, or whatever. Something basic just to get somebody started. That doesn't mean you want to sit there and have copycat games out there. Just a shell to get people started so they know how to set up a GUI interface for handling inventories, crafting, so on and so forth. Things that are essential, because that's what people want to do with the games. I mean, they want to do what they see in these big game industries. You know, they want to be able to do that with their engine. And that's something that you guys are really doing a good job of trying to get all that put together, but unfortunately, the bugs are all over the place. They're everywhere. Literally. I mean, it's like every week we stumble on something, and I know you guys are working hard to squish them. And that's my goal here, is to try to help you guys pinpoint where they are inside the actual gameplay, because you don't see it in the engine aspect. It looks great on the engine aspect. But from a developer's aspect, when you're in the game and you're playing the game and you're trying to put something together, but you can't because this bug happens to just show up out of nowhere, you know, but you don't see it from the engine to fix it. But you see it from when you're inside the game, when you're playing. This is why these video tutorials, these video developer logs, I'm hoping will help you. Because I really want to see this engine go someplace for a long time. Not just, you know, for the time being. I want to see it. Because you guys are doing something the other engines don't care about. They're trying to make it user-friendly for people that have no clue of even how to build a game. They can take this and, you know, they can build a dream on it. I mean, game development's an art. It's not just, you know, you got to be artistic of how you lay stuff out, whatever and stuff. It's an art. It should be an expression of your art, not spend all your time writing code. I mean, we've been putting code together in compilers since the early 60s, 70s. We should have had all that mastered by now. This should pretty much, be push button at this point in time. It should be all built in. It shouldn't be, it's like a car. You shouldn't have to sit there and crank the engine anymore. You put the key in, pop it in, or just push a button on the starter on a remote. Your engine starts. This is the way we should be with engines now. It shouldn't be a headache for people to figure out how to develop a game. They should be able to express their arts. Also, if you notice, a lot of the models in this game aren't just stock models. They're models that I've 3D built myself. I've done a lot of the voiceovers. Excuse me. I've written some of the songs for the game. Well, actually, all the songs for the game. Obviously, I didn't sing them, and I didn't have anybody sing them because I don't have a full production studio. I'm doing this literally out of my living room. Me, myself, my son does a little bit of game testing for me, but he's only 13 years old, under the age capable of entering into a legal contract. So, he's basically my,
we're fine game testing.
Yeah, game tester and assistant, but not legally, so. Oh, why are we able to walk through trees? What happened here?
Oh, there's another bug.
Well, there's something else I gotta look at. Yeah, you should not be able to walk through. Are they all like that, or is that just that? Yeah, they're. Okay, what? Well, there's another one, guys. Let me see if it's a setting to where it's collision detection, and it might just be on my end. I'll check that and let you know. At least the logs are now falling on the ground and not floating in the air like they were doing the other day. We're going to get some more stone. We're going to get our campfire and our cooking rack going. Yeah, as you see, the stats are doing a whole lot better. They're not draining anywhere near as fast. And special thanks to the guys working around the clock or hardcore trying to help me squash these bugs. I've been using this engine since it was early out. I mean, I was using Game Guru, the original one, which I didn't go far with because, and I mean, I bronze supported that one because it wasn't efficient. The rendering, you got a scene going with, a good full scene, and all of a sudden it bogged it down to where you couldn't even get it to load. It took 20 minutes just to load a scene. And I'm sure now they've got it probably a lot better, but then importing models was complex, and you guys have done a lot better job with this version. But this right here could be a stepping stone to something, like I said, of Unreal 6 quality, if you can sit there and, get this fine-tuned. And then if you guys turn around and start on version 2, part 2, whatever, you could do some serious stuff for sure. Did it make? Oh, gotta have the campfire, or the campwood, or firewood. Yeah, I can talk. First day. And this is not meant as a bash fest toward anybody in the developer side. Please don't be offended by anything I'm saying. My intent is to solely help, because I want this game to be successful. For this game to be successful, y'all's engines need to be successful. And if my game's successful, as a fact, it's going to be free advertising for Game Bureau Max. So it's a win-win all the way around. And the more flexible the engine is, the less of copycat games you're going to have. What I mean by copycat games, all those model packs that you guys have, everybody puts a game up on Steam has the same model pack, everybody's gonna see that. That's a copycat game pretty much. It's just different scenes, different gameplay, but they're the same models. People frown on that. But as you see, these rocks here, right here, these are my models. These are custom models. You know, that's gonna stand out. And I know there's a lot of game developers using this engine that are doing the same thing as me for the same reason. They know what I know. Something blocking my ability to get that. Yeah, that's orientation with the floor there, of the cave. That's not a blow. That's just where it's just falling into the. They'll eventually get to the point where you'll be able to collect them. Plus, I have a bunch of nodes floating around the scene to where you can. And also, this is a good ground texture here. That's really detailed. I like that. Compliments to the texture designer for that. I went and collected all those there because we want to make sure we got plenty of these crude knife blades. These knife blades are... I did that backwards. These knife blades are pretty much used in a lot of things. Shafts, stone chisels. Special note and stuff regarding the crafting that I'm putting in this game. If anybody's played the game Worm Online or Worm Unlimited, there are thousands of crafting recipes. I mean, you name it. To make just a simple tool, you need so many of this and so many of that, and it takes specific tools. Everything you make from scratch, from the ground up. I wanted to put a little bit of an element of that in here. You know, obviously I'm not going to go to the degree. I don't even know if this engine can handle it to that degree. I'm already going to be pushing it with what I've got going on. We're goaling, and I'm not going to promise it's going to work out that way, but we're goaling for 9 dungeons by June 25th release date in this game, filled with crafting recipes you got to hunt down and find, and mobs. You know, not sure. There might be some animated models like skeletons or orcs and whatever. I might go ahead and purchase to stick in there because I don't have the skill set to model to that degree myself yet. I'm working on it. I've got my son learning Blender. I use Animator, which has got the capability of animations, but it's not the quality of Blender. So I basically use the Animator for a lot of the stock models that I put in here. Not stock, but custom models that I put in here with a couple of other softwares because I know how to use it. I know how to use it well. So it works out for me. Special note, the icons that I got over here on the right, I actually built a software using Base 44 to generate those icons. Those are my icons. Those are my custom icons. And, you know, I would bring them into Paint.net and size them up, tweak them, whatever, so they're modified. They're not just full straight out of AI. They're, you know, and that's the same with the game user interface for the inventory and the crafting. This is all I've made software using Base 44 to create these, and then I'll take them into Paint.net and I'll size them up. I've got to clean this up. I've got to put a little outline on this, and you know, it's just because it's just me developing. This is me doing this game myself. So I'm building what tools I don't have that I need to fill in the gaps and the holes, to save a little bit of time to get this out there. But this is me, myself, and I, guys. I made the software to use to make these. It's all me. So, just wanted to share that with you. And I've been working on this game for a good 2-3 years. I've had to scrap it a couple of times. because of engine bugs that, you know, at that time they didn't have as well cleared out as they do now. So once they got a lot of the big hiccups out the way, I continued production, and this is where we're at. I've had people left and right tell me, you need to finish that game. So that's what I'm trying to do, and now we've got it listed up on Steam for people to go out and view and wish list. We will eventually get a preview video up there. We just haven't got that far yet. Maybe a little closer, like maybe April. We'll look into that. And you hear that crunch noise, that's still that pickaxe. I've got to see what setting it is that I've got to fix. It gets rid of that. Maybe I'll just change out the sounds that it's equipped with, and maybe it'll fix it on its own. Also, after we fix the object orientation, it seems to have corrected the dropping for the most part. And that's not 100% guaranteed fixed all the way around, but it looks to this point that it corrected that. But yeah, if you look at this from over here, from this perspective, what I was trying to show you in one of the other videos is before that would float above the ground. It's now nice and flush like it's supposed to be. It's not falling through the floor. Okay. So we want cooked crab meat recipe. We want that, and we want that. I'm gonna leave this a second because I did notice another bug. If you have this in your inventory when you start, it doubles up the amount that you craft. So instead of crafting one, it crafts two, and then doubles, squares it up, 2, 4, 6, 8, and 16, so on and so forth. That's a bug. Let's see if it still happens. I haven't tested it by... Okay, yeah, no. So now it's working like it should. But if the crab meat's already in your inventory, it will double it up. I'm not sure why, I'm not sure how, what causes that, but for sure. Excuse me. Still getting over the flu. We'll eat some of that crab meat there because we're low on hunger. Okay, as you guys see, currently the stats are working normal.
You can build crafting stations here under this honor.
Later on, as you get closer to dungeon, or you go into the dungeon, for some oddball reason, when you're attacked by a mob, it stops dealing you damage. I'm not sure what's causing that. And I'll show you what I'm talking about. That's another bug that pinpointed. And just for the developer knowledge, the status controller is associated here with that object. So if it's a fact that the distance between that is too far away from the stat controller, then I was under the impression that stat controller should be global anyways, and should be global handling. Yeah, let me know. Also, we need these to disappear after a certain few seconds. This is using up rendering. These dead mobs, they should not be left on the ground. They should be disappearing here shortly after, like maybe a timer onto it to where they disappear. Maybe build that into the script for your non-player character. Handles RPG. Yeah. Because, yeah, you get a bunch of those things lined up on the ground, and it's just going to eat up bandwidth. Or rendering, excuse me. They're supposed to be generating more of those crabs. I'm trying to collect a bunch of crab meat. Oh, holy crap, I have 112. How did that happen? I think that might be the duplication bug that I was telling you about, where you shoot, because there's no way I killed that many crabs. When you have an item in your inventory, it squares it up 1, 2, 4, 6, and it just keeps going. Before you know it, you have an unlimited ungodly amount. Okay, so that seems to be where it needs to be. Now we're gonna go ahead and craft some firewood. How many we got going on here? Yeah, and I really wish this number would associate it with these blocks up on the, and automatically generate. You shouldn't have to, something to indicate here. That way you don't gotta keep clicking on it to, that would be quite helpful. Alright, we're gonna test this theory here. You see, we got 4 crab meat in here. It's already in our inventory. Now we're gonna go ahead and craft again and see if it squares it up. Nope, it didn't. Good. So it's like just the initial meat. If you have it in your inventory, it does that. So like those 2 that I collected off the table, if those are in your inventory when you go to craft the meat or collect crab meat from the crabs, it's gonna double it up. That's a bug.
And no, not a literal bug.
Sorry about the clearing of my throat. Like I said, congestion from the flu.
You had it around a week ago to half a week ago.
Okay. So we got plenty of crab meat. Oh yeah, that's what I was gonna do. Oops, wrong button. I still need to change that GUI setting. Yeah, you guys can clue it when I'm just standing here. Crunch. Crunch. Yep. I'm gonna go over here and it stops when you walk. I'm not sure what the dealio is with that. I wanted you guys to hear these new voiceovers.
Well, I'm Pastor James. You can do us a service and collect us some meat that you can cook up and provide to the poor folk in the area. You can find crab meat, crabs that you kill by the shoreline. You might need some tools or weapons for that, though. God bless.
And see, I've already completed the quest because I had plenty of crab meat cooked up.
Well, I'm Pastor James. You can do us a service and collect us some meat that you can cook up and provide to the poor folk in the area. You can find crabs that you kill by the shoreline. You might need some tools or weapons for that, though. God bless.
Alright, we just got... There it is right there. Crude spear recipe. Oops, wrong button. Crude knife blade, wooden shaft. I think we have both. Well, we will have both. Look, right now. Why am I not taking damage? Or maybe if I eat some crab meat, maybe I'll fix it. Okay, that's not it. Let me try running back here. You see my sleep is running down, which means that's working. We'll go in here and we'll go where the bed is. We'll take a nap.
Crafting stations here, under this awning.
Let's try sleeping for 8 hours. We'll see if we can't get dealt any damage from something. We'll go drown ourselves, see what happens. Something wrong here. No damage. So I'm confused. We'll go back over to that area. Actually, we'll follow the coastline. I know there's some more mobs further up this way. Like that random stone that's just floating around over there. Why am I not taking the damage? That is a bug. I'm not sure what's causing it. Not sure if it's my setting or if it's in the scripting itself, but it's definitely a bug. Players are going to feel gypped. They buy this game and they're not being dealt proper damage upon attacks. Okay, so I need to set those back up correctly. They're not supposed to float. So yeah, that sound is definitely associated with the pickaxe. So hopefully I can fix it from my end, but I'm not sure what's causing it to happen in the first place. Alright, and the other concern that we have is the scripts seem to quit functioning when you go to save files. So let's see, we don't need that in anymore. Let's see here. We'll make some more. Shafts. Oh wait, no. We don't want shafts. We want, yeah, right there. That's all I have. All right. So this is cleared. I'm gonna test it. I didn't do it with it empty before. I left my in fact it was over here. I had the cooked crab meat in here and it just hung up on that. So I'm gonna clear that out. I'm gonna leave and then we're gonna save. I'm gonna try to do a new overwrite because maybe it's this here that was corrupted to begin with causing it. So we're gonna do this one here. Alright, now as you see, still currently we can craft stuff without any issues. It's not hanging up currently. We'll cook crab meat. Alright, so that's still functioning, right? Yeah. Okay, so we're pull that out of there. Oh, well, that's another thing too. When an item in the inventory gets used to craft, that ought to disappear right from the inventory of the crafter. It shouldn't. You shouldn't have to bump it or anything. That's something else needs fixed. But all right, now we're gonna leave out here, and we're gonna load our game. All right. Okay, this is the load we just saved. We just saved. This is what we're gonna load. We're gonna load in. In and we're going to try to craft something. Hopefully this works. Obviously it didn't save because we saved before I used this, so we're gonna go back in. I'll make cooked crab meat. Hopefully it works. 31. Let's count. Okay, so now it's working. So what happens, it may just be that one save I did. Maybe you guys fixed it well, or it fixed itself, I don't know, but let's try saving it with the recipe in there. Okay. Now we're going to go ahead and load. Yeah. See? There we go. This is what I'm talking about. The recipe is no longer in there. And it's no longer... So... You try to move another one over there. You can't move it over there. If you go into your... You go to try to hit U, and you can't pull it up. So let's go ahead and drop the... Real quick, we'll drop that. Pick it up, and all of a sudden you can click U again. But look, it's showing cooked crab meat recipe still there, but no recipe. You go to move another one in. Okay, so that fixed it. Where's the damn... Yeah. So, when it saves, there's still a bug issue there. If it saves with a recipe in there, like this here, then that recipe should still be in there showing when you load it. It shouldn't disappear. Obviously, it looks like you guys have done something, because before it wouldn't do that. So, you guys you're getting there, but something's, you know. But you see what I'm talking about. We're getting a lot of the issues squished and fixed. So we're now making progress. Let me see if I can take damage again. Maybe the load and save fix that. There's some more crabs down this way. Also, it looks like the dead ones that were in the area have vanished. I guess you guys have squashed that issue too. Good. So hopefully these videos are helping you developers for the game engine, because you guys don't know what's happening without seeing for yourselves. So now, is that a live crab or is that a still crab? They're live. Okay, what causes that is crab getting stuck on something. Last I checked, there shouldn't be a collision for foliage. So why is that happening with crabs? Not sure what caused that either. Okay, I'm taking damage again, so that's working again. So now we're gonna go back over to our dungeon and see if we can't There's a log here, but no tree. One of the... Yeah, where's extract resource? Where's the log? Where's the tree at? And there's another bug. Resource nodes disappearing upon load and saves. And that would be in-game play. Yeah, see, here we go again. Where's the resource node? That should be a clay. Yeah, right there. Should be resource node for clay. Where's it at? So resource nodes are disappearing on load and saves in game play. Our good old buddy rats. Okay, we're taking damage. Good, that's what we need. The heck? Okay, so the door's certainly open, but I can't get in there. The heck? I guess we'll go through the back door. Okay, so that gate should have... the save state for gates are not saving, obviously. If it was left open, it should have saved left open, and it's showing the save state where the collision is closed as to where the gate itself is open. Another bug. One that I didn't even know was happening either. Yeah, we're gonna go through the back door of the unfinished dungeon because, well, I can't get through the front way. We're still building this dungeon. Also, where's my sounds for the doors? Okay, I'm taking damage again. Good. Wrong way. Something's attacking me that ain't even there. That's not supposed to be floating. I gotta fix the setting for that. I think upon next update I'm gonna add the music back in but I'm gonna do it in just like little areas, like for example the dungeon. It'll be just affecting the dungeon area, and then that little area by where the boat is, just the area, and that way it's not overtaking the game like it was before. Let's see, we can't get out. But the animals can get in. What? I'm confused, guys. Alright, so I guess we're gonna go back out the way we came in, I guess. So save states for doors isn't saving correctly. It's saving the visual, but it's not saving the collision detection. That's kind of an important thing. You have a save state. Everything that's supposed to be saved is supposed to be saved. Yeah, that doesn't open anymore. So I'm not sure what's up with that. I'll have to fix that. Now there's just a little bit more I'm going to show you there, and then we're going to end the video because we already probably got an hour long or so video already. We're going to take a ride on that boat. We did a new voiceover for the glue lady, as I'm going to call her. I thought you guys might want to hear that. Oh, and that's another thing. If anybody knows where I can get some good crop assets, corn, wheat, barley, tomatoes, peppers, just vegetable plants and the vegetable, I would really appreciate if anybody could either donate or hook me up with inexpensive site for good quality that would match up real well with this game. By all means, share a link. Just hit me up on Discord, Steam Messenger, wherever. As you see, day-night's working. See, that was the whole purpose too right here, why I put that music in associated with the boat, was to like have you hear some kind of sound while you're sailing. There's no sound. Maybe I need to add sound to the boat when you're, if there's a way to. If not, there should be. That way it makes a sound effect like it's either sailing, rowing, water hitting up against it, something. I did add in background sound for birds chirping and whatnot, so there wasn't just an empty, so there's a little something there. And as you see, there is a purpose for the boat, Blood Moon. It's not just there to collect dust. There's many more areas that you have not explored yet. Nope, I missed my target. Alright, here we go.
Dadgummit, we ran out of glue. We gonna need some more glue.
That would be my sister volunteering her voice for that.
Dadgummit, we ran out of glue. We gonna need some more glue.
And here you got your glue recipe. I haven't added anything here much yet, but in this little area we're gonna have like a little shop, and probably different shopkeepers that You can either buy or sell certain things. You know, we just haven't finished it. So that's it. Thank you guys for viewing. Like, subscribe, invite your friends to watch, and get people looking at this game. June 25th is a target early access release. Alright, over and out.